LEGO has made a lot of Ultimate Collector Series sets over the years, nearly 40 of them in fact, and out of all of those, we've only gotten 25 Starships. To date, if you count unique Starships, that number trickles down to 19. And while I don't mind having ship remakes, as newer fans to the hobby should get a chance to buy a ship they love without paying exorbitant resale prices, 19 unique Starships in over 20 years is not a lot. So because I want to see some never been done before ships, here is my list of the top 6 Starships I want to see LEGO give the UCS treatment to. And I'll add the caveat that since LEGO gives the original trilogy plenty of love, everything on this list excludes that time period. This list easily could have been over 10 ships, but these 6 ships were at the very top of my personal list. And if you disagree, that's totally fine. Things like reviews and lists, they're subjective. Kicking off number 6 is a ship that won't be a surprise if you've been around the channel over the last month or so. The Marauder. The Bad Batch has become my favorite animated Star Wars show over the years, and I've talked about this ship plenty in a recent video. This ship isn't for everyone, but I personally love the design of the Omicron class attack shuttle. And because the ships have some similarities, LEGO could even take some design elements from the UCS Imperial shuttle. But mainly, I'd love to get a detailed interior of this ship, this time with a proper setup for the gunner space and Omega's room. A ship like this would be a nice way to break up the sea of black and gray sets, as I think the sand blue is perfect, and if we continue to get minifigures in UCS sets, then my wish will be for a Crosshair fig in Bad Batch armor, since we never got that in the first iteration of this ship. Andor is my favorite live action show to date, so I was fairly disappointed that we only got one LEGO set from it. At number 5 is Luthen's Fondor Hullcraft. This ship has such an aesthetically pleasing design, and it's full of surprises. Luthen had given it extensive modifications by way of defenses and offensive weapon systems, a necessity for a rebel during Imperial rule. I'd love to see LEGO implement all the hidden surprises such as the chaff launchers, retractable laser cannon, and particle beam emitter. And while Luthen had the ability to fake a reactor meltdown with convincing heat and hard radiation signature fluctuations, I would simply be happy if LEGO included the boarding ramp and secret changing room in the ship. This either needs a new Luthen figure, or we could get the rather enigmatic Clea if they wanted to go with an out-of-the-box idea. At number 4, the Stinger Mantis from the Jedi games, an S-161XL luxury yacht owned by Grease Dritus. The Mantis is effectively the home for Cal Kestis and company through the first 2 games. Built mainly for wealthy executives, the luxury yacht was manufactured by Latero Spaceworks and was known for its speed and elegance. I'd love to see how LEGO pulls off the rotating wing design here, and I can see how this would be a challenge, especially if they include a proper interior. Mainly, I'd be concerned about the counterbalances needed for the weight, as the Mantis was an asymmetrical design, and I'm not sure how much functionality they'd want to give it. I feel like it would need a few nods in the kitchen for Greasy Money's cooking, and you definitely need the couch, and of course, a booster seat for the Latero's piloting needs. As for the minifigure, either Cal from Jedi Survivor so we can finally get a good face with his stubble, or Grease himself. Number 3 on my list will be number 1 for many, but I'm being cognizant of the price, so I ranked it slightly down. The iconic Ghost from Rebels, and more recently, Ahsoka. I feel like this would be a feat of engineering, because canonically, the Ghost is bigger than the Millennium Falcon, and personally, I wouldn't want a lesser version than something comparable to the Falcon. So if they tried to stay true to that and gave this a bit of interior, for example the rooms, then this set would probably be over 8,000 pieces and let's say $900 minimum. We've had a Playscale Ghost recently, so I have to think that there's a conversation happening for this set, and with a Filoni-led movie on the horizon where this will undoubtedly be featured, I think there's a pretty decent shot for this happening. We do have to get the whole Ghost crew as minifigures though. Rogue One is my favorite Star Wars movie, and when it first came out, I really hoped that we would get a UCS ship from it. Nearly 10 years later, and I'm still holding on to that hope. Now, there are several ships that could work here, like Krennic Shuttle or a TIE Reaper, but at number 2, I have the UT-60D Starfighter, better known as the U-Wing. Manufactured by Incom Corporation, this ship was used as a transport and gunship during the Rebellion era, and unlike the majority of this list, this one doesn't require much of an interior except for some space for some minifigures and the cockpit, similar to the gunship from the Clone Wars. My biggest request here would be for the 2 S-foil wings. Can we please stop using the X-Wings rubber bands? I'd really like to utilize Technic for the retractable action. I think we're unlikely to get many more Jyn Erso figures, so I'd be happy with her for this one. Or if they want to go out of the box, a Mon Mothma fig would also work. Hopefully we can get this ship for Rogue One's 10-year anniversary in 2026. And finally, at number 1, the TIE Defender. Definitely some bias here, as this is one of my absolute favorite Imperial ships and was featured heavily in Rebels.
The TIE Defender Elite possesses speed, weapons and shields superior to any fighter in our fleet.
This ship was armed to the teeth and came equipped with 6 laser cannons, ion torpedoes, and concussion missiles. The only Defender made by LEGO to date was released in 2010 and came in at a paltry 296 pieces. So we are definitely overdue for a remake. I think you could take the cockpit elements of the UCS TIE Fighter or even the supposedly upcoming TIE Interceptor. The big thing would be finding a way to balance the tri-wings, and despite this being a UCS wishlist for display purposes, I feel like you have to give it proper stability so you could swoosh it around just a bit. As for the minifigure, there's no doubt about it, as this was the project that he advocated for, it has to be Grand Admiral Thrawn. So there you have it, my Ultimate Collector Series wishlist. Let me know in the comments what you agree or disagree with, or what you'd love to see yourself. And I am going to need a lot more than 2 credits if I'm going to be able to afford all of these, if they ever get made. So if you enjoyed this specific type of content, drop a like so it expands to a larger audience. And if you're enjoying your time here, consider subscribing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.